Yeah, it's done. You're done. You're done. Cops is coming. Cops is coming. Please, call the police, now.
You're caught! You...
Want me to get you a shovel? I'll get you a shovel. Front wheel drive. You need to get the other.
Mr. Saga.
It's front wheel drive. You need to get the wheels on the ground. Police are coming. Just forget it.
No mercy.
And of course, the thief doesn't know how to do anything else but steal. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and we have an overwhelming amount of insanity to get into today, as we're going to be doing our best to highlighting the insanity of our current social, political, and economic discourse that is just absolutely ridiculous, to say the least, and going to get a lot more ridiculous, as specifically we are going to be looking at the 2024 presidential elections, the bigger problems with American foreign policy, and the de-dollarization. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast, I wish I knew exactly where it came from, was originally shared by 9MMSMG on Twitter. I don't know if they were the ones originally who shot this. There's a TikTok label here. There's another label here. Who knows who shot this? If you know the original person who did, please let us know down in the comment section below so we could attribute them correctly. I also really do hope that this was a comedy satire skit, but looking at the police involvement here, I don't think it was. So shouts out to karma and the energetic scientific principles of the world coming together and proving that what goes around comes around. This, as I think it's also fair to say, that major democratic cities all over the United States are dealing with also a very karmic situation, as of course they descend into utter chaos, violence, and lawlessness, as district attorneys, usually financed by a billionaire, are creating two different set of rules based on people's political ideology. All of this as we're getting more details about the horrible event that ended the life of Bob Lee, one of the founders of Cash App, an individual who fled San Francisco for Miami, and on a trip visiting San Francisco was randomly stabbed on the sidewalk at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. This, as of course many locals there are saying, crime is totally out of control. This, as attack after attack has even made it unsafe for people to visit the city that they used to live in that is unrecognizable. But don't worry, as major cities descend into madness and as criminals who commit crimes on the same day are released, the federal government is not doing anything about it, but they're also having a whole bunch of government undercover informants in political groups like the Proud Boys, which we're finding out today because of new court documents that the U.S. government had at least 40 undercover informants within that organization, with some news organizations saying that there was more undercover agents than actual Proud Boys, leaving many people to ask how much of this was actually a legitimate organization and how much of it was actually influenced by federal tax dollars that had many high-profile members who were highly involved in their activities, including the ones involved in January 6th, a date that we're finding out that 8 out of the 13 Proud Boys there were actually FBI informants. This, as the federal government was hiding evidence, destroying evidence, and lying to the court during these ongoing court proceedings between the Proud Boys and the federal government. This, as we still do not know fully how many undercover police officers, informants, and federal undercover agents were involved and played a role in what happened on that one particular date. In my opinion, a very important question that we have still yet to have the answer on. This, as I think it's fair to say, we probably have some undercover Fed agents a part of LukeUnfiltered.com, and hey, that's one way to get your tax dollars back, am I right? This is our private organization that's not so private, secret, not so secret organization where we talk about being the best, healthiest, and strongest versions of ourselves. We talk about specific videos and topics that we cannot talk about here on YouTube. We're going to have a brand new video ready for you later on today That is over some very hot, spicy issues that we would never get away with here on this particular platform. That video, plus a lot more offers and stores of value available to you on lukeunfiltered.com, and you have multiple ways of being engaged, of being active. We are very accountable, we are very transparent in almost everything we do, and you could actually see that and participate in that, even if you're a Fed boy, just by simply paying $99 per month. That's one basic membership. We definitely recommend the Fed boys to get the Illuminati membership. That's $999 a month. That one right there. We'll give you guys everything. Just one low payment a month of $999. No, but truly, without joshing here, this is a member tier area for someone who either is a Fed boy, either has way too much money, doesn't know what to do with it. As of course, our basic membership does provide you a huge store of value. We are going to be doing in real life meetups available only for members soon in Austin, soon in Miami. To be a part of that, to be a part of asking questions, discounted members only shirts, access to hundreds of reports spanning over 10 years now, getting connected with like-minded individuals or feds in the forum, and getting 3 master classes. All of that is available only to members of lukeunfiltered.com. So if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up right now, especially the Fed boys, for $999 a month. And I will see you there right after this broadcast. All of this as I specifically wanted to use this video to talk about the 2024 presidential elections and now the 3 lead frontrunners, which I think deserve our attention and an honest, rational discussion about. One of the people who put their hat into their ring recently is, of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., that has been batting 100 and has been absolutely correct within the last few years when it came to questioning and checking the government's over-abuse of power and authority over its citizenry, all in the guise of, quote, health guidelines, which Robert Kennedy Jr. properly exposed, called out, and was right all along about. Robert Kennedy Jr. also recently is talking about the collapse of the U.S. influence and the de-dollarization that is happening all around the world, specifically detailing how the Ukraine war is, quote, the final collapse of the neocons' short-lived American century, and he addresses a very key component to a very difficult presidency that anyone will have in 2024 because of the geopolitical ramifications and international dealings that are going to be very difficult to navigate. And I think for this particular video, I think it's important to look at the 3 top candidates and how they would fare with America's biggest challenge, and that is, of course, the insidious trap, the rise of China, Russia, and the de-dollarization that is quickly happening right now. And I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s assessment on it is right on the money. He just filed this paperwork to run as a Democrat for the 2024 presidential election, challenging, of course, Joe Biden. And with the way that the corporate media is attacking him, this is showing some very promising marks for actually doing something and achieving something, or at least starting a very important conversation here that needs to be had. As, of course, the main thing that he is being criticized for, the former president of the United States is the biggest cheerleader of. And will these two come to a head and challenge each other? Well, it's going to be interesting to see who the Democrats put forward in 2024. But Robert Kennedy Jr. is definitely a very interesting candidate whose foreign policy assessment looks right on the money. He hangs out with James O'Keefe. He hangs out with a whole bunch of Ron Paul associates. He's been absolutely right on the money the last 3 years, and even though I might disagree with some of his policies, I think it's fair to say that he provides a very serious contention to not just Joe Biden, but to everyone else running, since, of course, he's a relative to the famous Kennedy political family that dominated American politics a few decades ago. And then since, of course, they were taken out by some very shadowy, mysterious circumstances that still have many unexplained questions to them, all of this as the former president of the United States seems to be doing better than ever, especially politically speaking, as, of course, he has raised over $12 million in campaign funds recently, was just seen playing a remix of Macho Man being a DJ just hours after being indicted, as his polls keep surging, going up after this indictment, with huge amounts of support for him, as of course he's being absolutely unfairly prosecuted here. It's pretty clear as day. Again, we're not the biggest cheerleaders of Donald Trump here, but I think it's fair to call out what is absolutely bloated, trumped up charges that absolutely make no sense at all, as he's facing 136 years in prison. That's ridiculous. For a clerical reporting area that's allegedly tied to a crime that the district attorney that's supported by this billionaire can't even mention? Get out of here. This is ridiculous. And the corporate media and these woke, insane Democrats are almost doing everything in their power to try to embolden and empower this man with every action that they take against him. This was also a very similar strategy used by Hillary Clinton, which absolutely backfired in the 2016 presidential elections. As of course, there was even a very negative pushback against Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, since of course he decided to land a cheap shot on Donald Trump during the key moments of this indictment. All of this as Congressman Thomas Macy has just officially came out and endorsed Ron DeSantis for the presidency in 2024, even though Ron DeSantis has not yet officially announced that he is running. Obviously, he is visiting Iowa, he's visiting New Hampshire, he's making a lot of trips to a lot of the key swing states. He's hiring a lot of key political strategists, and I think it's only fair to say that it's only going to be a matter of days. But when it comes to, of course, American foreign policy, Donald Trump is campaigning on ending the war in Ukraine, while Ron DeSantis made a somewhat okay statement about the situation in Ukraine originally to Tucker Carlson, and then a few days later took it back, essentially watering down his statement and, again, just following some of the rhetoric of the Bushes, which is a little bit disappointing since, of course, he also hangs out with Jeb Bush. Now, as far as his record when it comes to the last 3 years, I would argue that he's been better and right on more than almost any other politician out there, and has even matched Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s assessment on the situation and has absolutely called it right, while the former president of the United States literally attacked politicians and countries who didn't want to lock down. And again, I think Thomas Macy is a very good guy, and I think his endorsement is very interesting here. And I think this 2024 political election is going to be far more difficult than a lot of other people expect it to be. I think it's going to be interesting to see all of these three politicians butt heads. It's going to be interesting to see them go at it. It's going to be interesting to see if they're going to either destroy each other or make each other better. And personally, I'm kind of excited to see what happens here. As of course, DeSantis just came out talking about the U.S. Federal Reserve and its larger problems, talking about central bank digital currencies, talking about people who want to take away your Second Amendment rights, which the former president of the United States did. As of course, Bump Stock Donnie also came out and said, first take away the guns, then you could have due process, as of course he passed the law that made many Americans felons overnight, and boom, we also have that comparison. And maybe I think it's fair to say we could maybe make as Kamala Harris says, a Venn diagram of all the issues and takes by these candidates, where they officially stand, because I think it's fair to say we definitely don't have any kind of clear direction here. A lot of things could change very dramatically within the next few months, and there's some very serious questions to who people are supporting. Right now, personally, Ligma Johnson has my full support. Biden Fetterman, a close second, BidenFetterman.com, that's an actual website. But out of these three candidates, if you had to choose who's going to be the next president of the United States, who would you choose? Let me know down in the comment section below. It would be very interesting to see your response. I'm definitely going to be reading the comment section after this video, but regardless, whoever is the president of the United States, there sure is a lot of very big challenges ahead of them, especially when it comes to international relations, with even France just buying Chinese gas, with Wuhan, the battle of Ukraine, the battle of Taiwan, NATO announcing that Ukraine will join NATO, Russia and China becoming stronger allies together, and more war games and spy balloons that, of course, threaten the existence of humanity. So yeah, there's that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. This is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video coming your way on lukeunfiltered.com. See you there.